to From the Hood to the Community. Conversation today with Mr. Sandy Mills. From many things. By the way, happy birthday. Happy birthday, sir. I know you got one coming up. I'm going to join you in a minute. Let's get it going.
Who is that about?
The baby.
That is it. Okay.
How you doing? What's up?
Well.
How you feel? Good to see you. I know I got something I want to get. Sandy, so who are you working for now?
I am with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, providing diversity, equity, and inclusion, giving equal opportunities for African Americans and minorities, particularly in the workplace. I'm in the workforce development department.
That's got to be rewarding for you. I know you're very good at what you do when you do what you do. Okay, so basically, first off, I'd like to welcome you here. I've been trying to get you, pretty much alone so that we can chop it up. A lot of you don't know, but Sandy and I, we go back a little ways. We've experienced some experiences. Let's put it that way, and I know him quite well. And you know how I feel about, your judgment and the way that you balance things out. So this is going to be a serious conversation that I want to have you. And you and I, we've talked about different things from time to time, and I wanted to bring those to the forefront. So I want to start with what I just gave you. This is something that I feel very strongly about, Mr. Mills, and you know how genuine I am about trying to do something in our community. Um, you know the pain that we both share when it comes to some of our young people and just how they're looking at their lives. Um, so I'm gonna get right into it. Let's start with you being 15 years old. Let's go there. Where do you see yourself in today's youth? Do you see yourself at all?
I don't. I had a different mentality at 15, but I had a whole different hustle mentality, and I had more values. I think I had structure, obviously from my mother and father, and different people who influenced me. So I wasn't really, though young, I definitely was immature. But I think the immaturity now I see, particularly with what people are exposed to, social media, and just parents who are kids, and just the foundation.
But let's talk about interests. What were the things that consumed your thoughts at that time? Where was your head at?
I mean, other than
Hey, wait a minute. That is pretty much
15 years old.
Number one. Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, 15 was honestly 15 for me. I was looking for money.
Really? That's interesting. And where did women play a role in that?
Oh no, they weren't. I mean, I was popular, so I don't. I wasn't a playboy or anything, but I was popular, so I had hair. But I was. I mean, I think that's the reason why I was out. I was looking for money. I had facial hair, and so I was perpetrating like I was over there.
Your mindset.
I was a hustle mindset.
Mm-hmm. And where do you think that came from? Was it your parents, or was it the environment that you were in? Was it someone else that influenced you?
That's a good question, because my mother was a teacher. I also worked at a federal building. She instilled structure. My father worked at steel mill, and also RTA. He was more of the laborer aspect of it. And so I don't know if I say hustle from that. That was structure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was my exposure around other people away from. That's would be mine. So I think that was that, because My mother always instilled numbers, saving. I did not grasp that as much as I should have. Uh, and my father has always showed a strong male influence in the house. And I was blessed because most of the people around me didn't have a mother and father.
That's interesting. Were there any programs that were available that also influenced your life and your career?
I was part of Junior Achievement.
What is junior achievement? What is that?
Really?
No, wait, hey, listen,
I'm joking.
listen. You know, the
I'm joking.
audience may
I
not
already know
know.
you know.
You know what we're doing here,
But
right?
it's funny because I don't. Do you even hear Junior Achievement anymore?
Not anymore. Not anymore. But I'm going somewhere.
Junior Achievement was instilling the entrepreneurial mindset and structure to youth. So it was almost the equivalent to these pathway organizations, I guess now, but they were pulling all communities. I remember it allowed me to actually, some of my great friends are from the people who I was exposed to that were not in my melting pot people. And they showed me structure. Um, they had other companies come in and talk to us, and all these different programs allowed for me to see it from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And as I said, that's funny. I didn't think that out loud, but that was probably where I started thinking about being an entrepreneur because of it.
Exactly. And that's where I was going. I put something in front of you when I sat down. Could you read what that says, if you don't mind?
My glasses are out. My glasses. Truth and Vision, Youth Leadership and Development Program.
And pretty much that's exactly what we do here. Okay. Our vision is to identify youth at risk. Okay. Okay. And what we want to do, we want to go inside of the schools, and we want to go inside of some of the detention centers and different things. And I've been able to draw that attention. And that's what I think is needed out here. A lot of times when you're 15 years old, you don't have an idea of what tomorrow is going to look for you. Like that, at 15, did you think about 25?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Mhm.
You have people now that are structuring people for the future, doing the creating dummy companies and the whole nine yards. I didn't think of anything.
Forgive me for that. Well, one of the things that I do know is that's what I'm saying. Okay. So, we used to call them gatekeepers, people that would watch out for the youth. And see, what year would you, and I know I don't, and me and you, we joke about age. What year were you 15? Can you, wait, but hold on. Let me ask that another way. Can you remember that far back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was 70. It was the year 79.
Okay.
No, 78.
78.
78.
It was a different time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 78. Thanks.
No, what do you mean? Thanks. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just look. We boys. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting down here having a conversation with you because, I've shared this with you several times. There's a different mentality in today's youth. Okay, it's almost like they have no desire past right now. I call it a microwave thinking. They want things fast. They don't think about, you know, not all of them now. Because we also, I don't want to, I'm not going to say that every young man at 15 thinks this way, but a great deal of our youngsters, especially those that are dealing with a lot of the trauma, from maybe even their household, it's like there's a sense of I want to get it right now, and I don't care how you feel about it, and I would do anything that I need to do to get it. I don't respect you. I don't respect authority. I don't respect value. So whose fault would you say that is? Is that something that we should hold ourselves responsible to, or is it that solely on that individual and that child? And it's a double question. I may also ask you. No, let's start right there first before I go into the next
I personally think, particularly because of our communities, it's on us. And I don't mean that us has to be the parent because some of these people, I think we have so much knowledge. I'm looking at what you do here. Talking about with Truth and Vision. Uh, we could help so many individuals by exposure, adults and the youth, the young adults, like I was talking about the parents and kids, and then the youth themselves by seeing people that want to help. I don't think anybody I don't run across too many youth that think someone's there for them.
Mm.
So
They don't believe us.
they don't believe. Yeah,
They think that we are self-serving. So that's what they have. They have a sense of self-serving.
and I can see where they think
and
that because
entitlement.
I see a lot of people out here not doing things for the community, they're doing a lot of things for themselves. So when you see, I see Facebook, I see more people glamorizing themselves, but they don't glamorize what they do with the community.
Mm. I think I would have to agree. I see some
I mean, I see
programs.
some. I don't say I hate to say all. I don't.
No, it's not. And we're not going to use this as a stereotype, by no means. The programs there are some programs that I see get funding. And what they tend to do, they tend to load up their staff.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's to justify those salaries. But none of that money goes back into the community the way it should. They trickle dollars down because of the way that nonprofit may be structured. My theory is this: what if we utilize some of those funds to hire individuals from the community and train them to help others? Okay, instead of loading up our staff and paying one individual maybe 10 to 15,000 month, even that, maybe I won't even say 10 to 15,000 because they go up to 70 to 150,000 dollars to justify some of the salaries. What if we were to take that money and instead of paying one individual 150,000, we support different organizations or develop different programs where we can hire young people and put them into positions, pay them $20,000 maybe, and then at the same time let them sharpen their teeth on how to serve the community.
Apprenticeship.
Yes, and I think that's what's wrong. Or I see different organizations, they'll bring in all these different artists, different stars and everything, and they'll pay them 10 to 20,000. What if we put that money that they're utilizing to bring those individuals and do the same things? Set up credit clinics, okay, understanding stock market, coming together collectively and making a difference by actually doing what their mission statement says. What do you think about that?
I think that was powerful. I mean, obviously, a lot of people know how to write a good business plan, and what they write doesn't mean what they do.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, Mr. Mills, I want to talk about something else too. Okay. Pretty soon you'll be turning another age.
I will. I'll be 59.
And usually every year you do something that's unique. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Every year I do a life toast. And the life toast is an annual life toast, and the whole goal of it is to my gift for me is be able to see the day. So starting my birthday, seeing the day is the big gift. Being able to use this gift of life and handing that out to others. Um, yeah, using this gift and actually reaching out to others means that I had to touch hands with other people. And so I want to toast all my friends, family, acquaintances, business partners, and I do that every year.
I had someone call in and I just wanted them, how are you? Yes, we are. I'll make sure I give that question to Mr. Mills. Okay. This is a question directly for you, Mr. Mills.
Oh, okay.
This is from someone who knows you.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Mills, I was asked to ask you, were you dating anyone now?
Someone just called you and asked you this question.
Yes.
Uh, yes, I am dating.
Okay, great, great. All right, they wanted to put that on record, so I guess I don't know what that is. That's kind of awkward right in the middle of this that someone would call that. It won't only happen to Mr. Sandy Mills. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about this youth and leadership program, and I want your opinion on this. If you flip it over, it shows some of the resources that we're going to be using, and like we also are funded with our ACE program, and that's our after school program. And we also here we teach credit, money management, balancing a checkbook, stocks, our local government. And listen, I want to talk about our local government. How important is it for individuals to understand their local government, especially our youth and some of our adults? How important is that?
I think it gives us power. The more we understand the government and how it really works, and we will be able to use that platform to be able to create the kind of voice that we want through the community.
Hmm.
So teaching, I think it's a foolish belief that there's not knowing the government, how it works, the different positions in that, thinking that some people are more powerful than the others, when seeing those people not able to do certain things. And now you have a lack of belief in the system. And as I say that, should be a reason for a lack of belief in some parts of it, because until the community really show their strength by holding the government accountable, actually making sure what they say matches what they do. I think they get away with murder. So if you're teaching the youth ahead of time and you creating this whole different mindset of individuals that are really investing back in their community and understand what the government can work for them, I think it's very important. I think that the biggest trick is a lot of government bank on people not knowing.
That's a good answer. So we're gonna play a game here. I'm gonna throw some different words that I want your opinion of. Police department.
I had a long answer? So this would be a quick
I want the answer, whatever that is.
I believe the police department. I think the police department is a organization or some people who protect. And the reason I say it like that is being real with it. I think there's some great police out there, and I think that obviously when we're all scared, we all ask for them. And so,
who are you gonna call?
Yeah, you're gonna call the police. And so, but that being said, I have a prove it to me kind of mentality with certain.
Defund the police. What's your opinion?
I mean, I think that's broad. It's thrown out there too quickly, and no, I don't agree in that. But I do think the educating and doing what you need to do as far as educating these police. There's some good police out there. Really
Democrats.
Democrats get away with murder because they believe they're gonna get the black vote before. They believe they're gonna get the black vote just automatically. So I really don't. Democrats and Republicans, and it showed me independent. I like the whole independent mindset.
So if I were to say Republican, you would say the same thing.
If I was rich, back when we were younger, you was rich. All the people I know that said they're a Democrat, they've been a Republican for their money. I mean, I'm being real. Now, I'm not talking about the Trump Republican, but I'm talking about.
What do you know any Republicans that you would consider voting for, whether it's undercover or support period?
Oh, I want to be shy about that. I look at the position of where Democrat or Republican, you don't get my vote just because you're Democrat, or and I look at a Republican as well. They put blacks in the Republicans to get the black vote, and you have certain people that speak good language in the Democratic part, and they're a trip.
I believe that it's more Democrats that are truly undercover Republicans than
very much so.
Okay, and see that I don't think that the Democrat and the Republic parties are true to each other, and definitely not true to us. I think, like you said, they take our vote for granted.
I'll give you a prime example. One of small examples, but COVID. The COVID money and the programming money. So you remember they were battling amongst each other. They didn't care. Neither side cared about the other side when it's coming around Christmas and when they had to sign up to redo the money for those who needed the money.
Yeah,
and they were saying that it was all on Trump, that he had waited so long to sign. That's why. But when you really look at it, they were all on vacation. They were all bound amongst each other, using that platform to get other things by a sign. They didn't care about people. That was Democrat and Republicans.
So,
and again, I'm not against all.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's call it what it is, though. I think this is the rich and the poor.
Them and us.
Yeah. and no, but real talk. I think that's what it boils down to: economics. And I think that one of the problems is in our community is that we don't understand economics. Now, here I'm getting ready to say something. I
It's
see you.
back to what you were saying about the covenant, understanding it from that platform. Because I know people who I I won't say names, but I know some individuals who, before they chose their political party, they wanted to see who was going, what how it worked for them.
Yeah, you're right. What are you gonna do for me?
Yeah, I know some Republicans who are Democrats now who strictly did that because of the
It gave them a
community.
position.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's do something. Let's talk about something else. The race card.
and what?
African Americans. It seems like whenever they have a battle that they're trying to win and it involves anybody with another, race, the first thing that a lot of us do, we hold up, hey, I'm black and you don't like me because I'm black. How do you feel about that statement? And just using that race card all times in all aspects of, conversation and battles and.
I think it's a lot of times. And, you know, I don't have to do a disclaimer. We're not talking about every single aspect of things, but it's a cop out in a lot of ways. It's a cop out. A lot of these different things. That's for that same matter as people jumping up for Black Lives Matter,
Ah,
um, or wearing a T-shirt, don't know what the reason they're fighting for, or ready to do certain kind of, if it looks good, kind of protests, and not knowing the whole story, and particularly talking about black. So you were talking before on some other occasions about that black on black crime, and it's real. Uh, Statistics, I won't get into all of that, and because I can't speak on that, but just on seeing out there, we were talking about the other show about being prejudiced
yeah.
to our own.
Well, what I said, and I'll say it again, we don't hold black folks accountable.
Mm.
We give them a pass even if it hurts us. I think they do it in our local politics than more so than well, no. As a matter of fact, not only do they do it in our local politics, we do it in relationships. Period.
Quick question: You
Mhm.
were, what was your thoughts on Ice Cube when he wanted to have a platform or wanted to have things, there were a checklist of things that some of these political people, whether it be Republican or Democrat, do before they get our vote? Or before
I
they get,
I think it's 100% necessary.
I thought it was.
And wait, and they shot it down, and they
I think it was
criticized
the
it.
way he worded rather than seeing what he was talking about because he didn't pick one side or the other.
Well, one of the things is if I'm a Democrat and I like a Republican, then I'm against everybody that's black. And I think that's totally unfair
Crazy.
because there are some Republicans, and you know how I feel. It's a particular, it's a few people that I hold to a high esteem.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do
and wait
too.
a minute, and they are in political office, and they are Republicans.
Every aspect. Of your life,
Yes, and one of the
philosophies, everything.
exactly. So we no longer are people that can agree to disagree. They want to put us in categories. I was talking to, I went down to Carl's, Barringster, right across from the police station. I mean, downtown at the Justice Center. You know where they have that corned beef at. And I was talking to her, his son, and I didn't know he was Lebanese. Okay. And what he told me really shocked me. He said that his father came up here with nothing. They were sheep herders. Okay. And they sold all their sheep and they came about. He said he couldn't even speak English. But what he did, him and his family, they stuck together and they pulled together and they went into the restaurant business. Right now, they've had Barringsters over there for about 31 years, and they have a couple of other restaurants in Westlake, and they work together as a family. And the young man was his son. I talked to him for quite a while, and we were talking about this very thing. And he said that, Larry, he said, I had a young man coming here. He was black. He had a ski mask on, and he had some sunglasses. And he sat there and he ordered all of this food, and then he jumped up and ran. He said he ran down and he caught him. And when he came back, everybody was looking at him because all they seen was a big white guy because the little black guy was small. They didn't understand what he did. All they seen was the black and the white. And he said, now, he ran out of here, didn't pay her anything. and I was trying to take care of my business, but I was called every kind of racial name there was probably in some of the minds of the people that seen me because there was a lot of African Americans. You could tell by the look and you could feel the energy. He said, we do that now. And we do. We judge a color before
That's
we
true.
understand a situation.
That's fine.
And let me tell you something. I'm gonna say that too. I'm gonna say this. I know that there's racism out here, Mr. Mills. It's not a doubt in my mind. It's systematic racism. There's a lot of things. But at the same time, what do you think our problem is? Why haven't we been able to create a system that works to fight against it effectively? I mean, we'll have individual people that will march when there's a situation. We have certain people like our Al Sharptons and our other people that try to speak for us. But do you see a change that's actually taking place? Is there anybody that could sit in the seat uh, and be effective like the past leaders, Malcolm X or maybe Martin Luther King? They can actually speak to a mass, our mass of African Americans, and actually, be about balance and be about individuals. I mean, by making change and be effective. Who do you see that person? Who is our leaders now? Is maybe that's a better way of asking. Who would you say
I
is
mean,
our
I
leaders?
know there are of leaders that are out there, but just to follow up from what you're saying, on a national platform, the mere fact we have to pause, and the mere fact that we can't spew out a name immediately from a national platform, there isn't anybody that I see that stands out. That is,
That's terrible.
you know, I
So
don't
that's
see it.
by that's
I see political positionings and I see different things, but and I'm not, and I say that to say, and I'm sure you're saying the same. There's probably people out there, but the fact that it's not national something, and we're not pulling together to be able to back somebody where we wouldn't know the name
exactly.
in a metropolitan city that we don't even know. Right.
Listen, Bibb, when he was elected, I heard all of these great things about it. Remember that? Mhm. And so right now, you don't know exactly how effective he's going to be because he's so new to office. Okay. But I do like the conversation
I do
he's
too.
having.
I do too.
I do like the fact that he's engaging in some of our young people.
Accountable in a
I
lot of
think,
things.
and so, but at the same time, you still see a lot of us attacking him because this one came out. Well, most of his staff is white. Have you heard that?
I have, and but I've also been blessed to be around different things where he's chose to reach out to a lot of the minorities first on certain businesses.
I think he's looking for the best person for the job,
Yeah,
and hopefully he's not going to do what we say others do and just look at skin colors. And see, and I went there for a
it's the
reason.
same as Obama.
Well, exactly. Well, exactly. But with Obama, okay, I do see some things um, with Obama. I I see as I've seen it a little bit different. I do know that because he was the first African American president, he had to walk a very, very narrow path. Okay, because in order for him to be in that position, he had to actually get votes from both sides of the fence, if you understand. So, and I think he did it very well.
I thought he was. You have to know where you are as
Mhm.
far as positions. First of all, a president doesn't have the power to everybody.
None, and that's the
So,
problem there.
so just because if you going in being quote black, I'm talking about the mentality black, you weren't gonna get anywhere. As far as that. First of all, you weren't gonna.
Well, he didn't get anywhere anyway, and he
Well,
wasn't just because he was
well,
black.
what I
So-
say about that is he did have some things that he accomplished. Those things would not have been even accomplished, even with the roadblocks that he even had, if he would have been going in the way these black people turn around talking about you need to save us rather than saving themselves on
Come
things.
on.
And so again, they're looking for some savior rather than saving themselves.
Hmm.
I always thought that's why it starts with the ripple.
Well, I knew that was coming in, but no, but we have people out here that are saying we need to double down on being black, and what I mean by that is we have people. Look at you. What is his name? Umar. If I'm not, if I'm, am I pronouncing his name correctly? Where he has He said, well,
Oh,
black men should only marry black women and all
yeah.
that. And I mean,
I can't say it's just got into some, yeah, some things. Just went down with it.
really.
Yeah,
Hmm.
contradicted some of the things that he spoke. So,
Well, but that's what I'm saying. And see, you don't know. And see, that's what I'm saying. We fall into so many different traps when we are so persistent on not allowing ourselves to be imperfect by looking at other people and expecting them to be perfect with us. Okay, and I think that that's a huge problem for me. You know me, I believe in making sure that black people are accountable, and I don't see that. I don't see it with different organizations. It's one particular organization that I really have a problem with. I always call them photo ops, and I'm not going to put their name out there, but that's all these brothers do is show up. I have seen them where they'll call for a march and then maybe 8 people will show up, 10 at the most, but they call for it. But when they have a function, it's all hands on deck when there's a photo and they stand up there in their jackets. And I have a problem with that. It's not against the brothers, it's against their mission. And the same with some of these other organizations. Yes, a lot of them like that. So we are not effective in our own community. But you want to hold me hostage to being accountable because I'm black, accountable to you. And I think that's a problem. And then they'll assassinate your name. I want to be effective. And I don't think a lot of us realize that there are some individuals out here that are passionate about being effective. I want to be true. And listen, as far as who I marry and all of that, I don't think that's none of your business. Let's deal with certain things uh, in my mind, in your mind first. Let's get this together. And I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm sick of hearing about Black Wall Street. You know why? We know how Black Wall Street became Black Wall Street, and we know how they destroyed it. Could that happen today?
Black Wall Street.
No. Could they
How could he
destroy
destroy it?
Black Wall Street like they destroyed it back then? Do you think that that's possible? They would have to do it another way. I'm not saying they
Yeah,
can't
I'm
do
about to
it.
say, yeah,
They
it
could
won't be
do it,
this.
but they
It
won't. They
won't be
won't
the
be
same.
doing dropping bombs and
No,
stuff, right?
no.
Because in my opinion, I think East Cleveland could have been a
No,
Black Wall
here's the
Street.
bomb they dropped.
Mhm.
They put us back.
Economic bomb. That's what they
They
would
put
do.
us. They place us back in there to destroy us. And stuff.
Well, they would pit us against
Yeah,
ourselves,
that's what I mean.
and that okay. Now hold on. That's what they use now. But let's get rid of the they, because in order for that to be effective, we have to accept it. And the fact that we know that that's what has happened, why haven't we developed a defense against that? My point is this: I don't want to hold nobody accountable without first holding myself accountable, without holding African Americans accountable. We need to change the way we think. Do you remember the problem that we had in some of these smaller cities that I got involved with when we had certain council people that did the same thing? Now, I'm not going to put their name out there because that's over with again unless it comes back up. Hopefully, I won't have to revisit
They
that.
know.
They know who it is. And I think I called them the three blind mice. And I meant that. And I meant it because, you know what, when you're blind to how you need to work together, and instead of dealing with all of those personal attributes that you find, not attributes, those personal things in a person's personality that you don't like, and focusing on them, you need to focus on a common goal. Now, some of the issues that we have in our black community, let's start with our school system. We've had an outdated school system for years. I think it's ineffective in so many ways, even down to what we pay our teachers. How could the salaries that they're paying our teachers when they are supposed to be educating our individuals that's going to be the leaders of tomorrow, our kids rather? I think it's appalling. We don't put enough emphasis on that.
I was
Also,
looking at
mhm.
Ted Ginn speaking. Ted Ginn Senior
Oh,
speaking.
hats off to Ted. I'm sorry.
Ginn
That
Academy.
brother, they can say what they want about Mr. Ginn.
Well, he
I
made a
like him.
great point. I
Yeah.
just saw
Hmm.
he was on a platform and they were speaking. They were saying, they were talking about all the accolades in regard to sports, and he said also, but I had a 96 to 98% graduation rate. And so they asked, with that being said, are there monies being pushed your way? He said, that's funny because there's monies pushed in these other locations and other places. And he didn't get into names, obviously, or anything, that where they were getting funding with less graduation rates And yet he has that. And they were saying this group on the TV was.
That's how you destroy Black Wall Street. Ain't the same thing?
That's my
That's
point.
one of the ways. Yeah.
Because he's showing success, and yet that was not where the money.
Okay, so let's talk about some of our Black leaders supporting them too. What about some of our Black organizations up there? I mean, could they also contribute to that? I mean, they gave this man a parade, and a well-deserved parade, because I did not know he was actually a guard in the school.
Oh, he's a beast.
Yes, I mean he's a beast, and I got mad respect for him because he's been effective. So again, we talk all of these things. We got all of these different programs out here. How many of those programs that are African American supports even his school? Do you see any of those? You see, and I could be wrong because we don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there is. I mean, here, look, I'm looking at my program here. I know for a fact. Pardon?
My brother's keeper.
Well, the Urban League is a good organization. They've been around for many, many years, and they go into the community. MyCom, I take my hat off to them, and the reason I keep saying it, they have so many down-to-earth programs. There's a lot of good organizations, but the problem is this: there's not enough effective organizations that's going to penetrate the problem sufficiently enough where it's going to make a difference. We still got a large portion of our kids that are in detention centers. We got gang activities. All these things are not new. They're old. But where are the gatekeepers that's going to effectively come together? I was talking to Lonnie Sloan. You know Lonnie Sloan. I keep bringing up his name. I love his brother because he comes up. Yeah, he is. And we were talking, and Lonnie said this, blew me away. He said, where the foot soldiers at? And see, that's what I'm saying. We got all these captains. Yeah. We got all these individuals that want to shine, and we don't have nobody to do the work. But I'll say this. What if instead of being that person that's at the top, you step down and then get some of those other people so that you can hire some foot soldiers, take a cut in your salaries, okay? Take a cut in some of your time and go out and find them instead of throwing parties all the time and giving everybody awards. What if you went out and actually structured something where you could make a difference? Now, I suggested this. Yeah. Yes, that's, now I suggested this, and you tell me what you think about it. I said we need to divide the city up with all these organizations. Let every organization, or as many as you can, adopt a school and a zip code. That would be powerful, okay? And hold them accountable. And then when you get your money, let's put a board out there. Let's send out reports. This is where my funding go. I bet you if you did that now, you would see that they raised this money, but that money is not going back in the community where it's going to be effective. They could make sensible programs if they did not care who gets the credit. Do that make sense? Now, with the Urban League, tell me a little bit about what the Urban League is doing, because I hear a lot of great things about it, but I know you should expand on those. What is the Urban League doing?
That's interesting. We're doing a variety of things, whether it be financial literacy, working also with My Brother's Keeper. We work with youth education and as far as workforce development and entrepreneurial system. Putting people in a position where they have the same platform, same voice as anyone else out there, giving them life skills. Also the retention, as far as the workforce aspect, the retention to be able to stay and be sustainable in the life as far as your career, rather than just some plug and play job. We look for people to actually have some form of not just giving back as far as the community, but also being able to grow with our community and or start their own businesses.
My Brother's Keeper. I keep hearing you throw that out there. Could you expand on that? What type of organization is that?
My Brother's Keeper deals with sixth graders to 12th graders. So it's that pipeline, being able to assist with those kids and give them sustainable skills as well to be able to move into the workforce.
They've been around for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Obama initially created the initiative. It's been sustainable. It's been doing amazing things.
Do you know any women organizations that are doing something similar? Or is that My Brother's Keeper or for male and female?
Well, male and female from My Brother's Keeper.
Okay, but do you know anyone specifically for women and other organizations specifically for African-American males that deal directly in the urban community? primarily?
rephrase that. My Brother's Keeper obviously is more males, but they're also reaching out. We're reaching out with a pipeline with women as well.
Mm.
Kids.
Mhm.
As far as other organizations outside of what we do,
Mhm.
Students of Promise,
Students of Promise is Bob Ivory, if I'm not mistaken.
that is.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I got to take my hat off to Bob. Uh, he built that organization, didn't he?
He carried it. It was a county organization with another name, if I believe right, and he created Students of Promise. And from there, it's been going on amazing.
He has a lot of success as well.
Yes, he's in multiple schools.
Okay. So, in your opinion, what do you think is needed in our community now that would collectively do more and be just as effective as some of those organizations? And what could some of those organizations do better?
Well, it'll be easy to just throw things out there, but I think again, it's going to have to deal with the community. The more that we educate and have opportunity to do as much exposure with these businesses and the communities and working together hand in hand to allow these people to have the education and, like I said, the tools, soft skill training, critical thinking skills is huge. A lot of people are looking to gain things without having the foundation to be able to sustain in those things. And so I think the more we get people exposed to these different programs that are out here, and most things like what you're talking about with the Truth and Vision and all the other organizations, and having people not feel that they have to have a platform where they're getting paid, but they're doing it because they're giving back and they're paying it forward. I think that'll allow for the strengthening of our community.
Now, I'm not against you taking care of yourself. But what I am going to say is this: here, I say that more needs to go towards development opposed to programs that only support those that are older that have done things. I know a lot of you guys out here, you're going to take this as a personal hit. And I do have a problem with some of the organizations. Um, One in particular, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. I see a lot of going on with them, but I just see photo ops. And eventually I'm going to watch. And eventually, yeah, I'm going to have to call that name out because I would like to see them do more. I really would. But here at Truth and Vision, our vision, pardon? Don't go there. Okay, our vision is to identify youth at risk between the ages of 10 to 17 years old through a screening procedure that will strengthen the foundation of targeted prevention approaches by focusing resources on a specific clientele and recommending appropriate interventions while creating programs that will assist. That's our vision. Our purpose: to work with police departments, court systems, and communities as a first step to deter youth at risk of repeat offenses and to deter their first-time offenders and as well as first-time offenders, to create a pathway for youths in detention centers to become leaders in our communities. How we intend to accomplish it in a nutshell is to listen. I think that's what's missing. We have not listened to our kids. Listen, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I appreciate
You know
something.
what? Though,
Mhm.
let me finish on something I want to kind of.
Here we go.
No, seriously, I was talking about the Life Toast. I want to finish on that. The Life Toast is designed for all my friends, family, and acquaintances because with those hands that I touch, it created opportunities, friendships, networking, and all of those life lessons that I learned through that created who I am. So I want to toast other individuals. So this Thursday, I'm doing a life toast. I want to, the reason why I'm saying it, even on a platform like this, is because really is what we're talking about right now. The more we start acknowledging each other, the more we start to actually not
Appreciate
looking
gratitude.
to get something from something, but also
Correct.
just celebrate people who have been in our lives, are doing some amazing things. I think it's needed. I'm also going to do that. Every year, I also bless 2 people or more giving back. So the money that I would get through my birthday, I actually go and
Oh, you get money on your birthday, man?
absolutely. But with that in mind, but real talk, my whole goal is for people to give. And what we're doing is, and I'm gonna show it with a hashtag. It starts with a ripple. Post those people that we actually bless. Last year I did 2 people over at Marks and 1 person we did electric bill. But I want to do more.
I got an organization that you can bless with some of that funding. Truth and Vision. I'm gonna tell you something. We got light bills too.
Well, but here's
No.
what I mean by that. But
I
even
know
with
exactly what you mean.
I-
You
it-
call it pay it forward,
it,
and
it,
I get that.
and it is, but it also more importantly, it is back to what you're talking about. And just with even what Lonnie Sloan says, don't just talk about it, do something.
Exactly.
So if whatever you do, it doesn't have to be monetarily, but it could be even
a
hug.
service.
You can actually just by say or make someone smile is going to change.
Shake their
life.
hand and say
Right.
you're doing a good job.
Right.
Give a hug. And listen, entrepreneurship in our youth is needed. That's where I'm going. We need to start building our future now by building the minds of our young. We got kids that are in detention centers and they believe what they're doing. They believe in the fact that the only future that they have is futures that they have with that gang. I think that there's a chance that we can lose a lot of our kids if we don't create more gatekeepers. Mr. Mills, as usual, I want to have you in here pretty much to help with some of the things that I want to, talk about. I want to interview, well, not interview, but I would like to have on our show, and I am some Republican judges, some Democrats, that are controversial if they would come, and I think you'd be a softer touch. So I want you to join me with this. I'm going to change the format a little bit. Um, I want to go in another direction. I also want to have some young men and women on our show where we can actually, talk to them about the problems that they're doing. I mean, that they're going through in their school systems. I want to change this, and I want to expand on this. But like you said, I want to make a difference. Hey, listen, thanks for your time. I know how busy you are, and
It's one thing I will say is, next time I'll be more prepared. I stammered and didn't say too much. I actually seemed as though I didn't know what.
Why I smacked you with this one.
You caught me off guard at
Yeah,
the
I
very
did.
beginning of this whole.
Right. Well, I'm giving you the heads up now. And one of the reasons, no, but one of the reasons is because you create thought. You bring things out that you normally would not, maybe not think about. But I also know your passion and everything you do, and you're gonna keep it real whether I feel it or not, and that's important.
One other thing I want to answer. I do believe that there are good things out there. Matter of fact, but I think that the more they start speaking up, the more the communities start talking with them instead of just talking at a platform where you feel like they're above you or something. Because I've been places where I'm still scared. I'm scared, and everything.
What about? Hey, listen,
I walk through some places, and all I want to say is this: that doesn't mean that I meet too many people that I know that are really good police, but for those good ones, there's some situations that needs to be addressed in the community, and it needs to be addressed now.
What if I could have two police officers or one or two police officers in here, and I wouldn't tell you who they are. I just had regular, normal people, one regular person and another person that would be a police officer, but he wouldn't be in this uniform. You think you could tell me which one is which? Because I'm saying I think a lot of policemen, they just want to go home to their family, just like
No, I don't think I could tell you if they were. I think,
Well,
but
that's the
here's
problem.
what's crazy though.
See, it's a visual. That's what I'm saying.
It's not just a visual, and it's not just talking about police, but you know as well as I do, when people get in a uniform, they act different.
I think that's their job. They're supposed to.
No, when there's
No, I'm
okay,
sorry,
so
but
let's be
they have to. That
So
hold
hold
on.
on. I
If you
said-
was
I
in your
said-
police
I-
officer,
no,
would you act different than you was in your clothes? Now I'm not saying you
now
have
I'm
to
gonna say something
right.
that is we probably need to get off the air.
No, we got
But
this is my time. It's
but-
your time.
But here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
It's just like be careful. Man. It's just like even certain people who pledge.
Ooh wee.
Pledge where you hide behind what the organization rather than as an individual, where you wear something and you act a certain way because you're in a certain outfit rather than the fact being who you are. There's certain police that have a certain macho whatever. Only I'm not talking about just certain thing, but they feel they're better. And who, when you take them out of outfit, the reason why I may not know them is because they don't feel that they have their quote armor on there. And then there's guys we know for a fact. You know as well as I do. I know some people in police, firemen, everything else. They use that to hook up with
But wait,
people.
I
and
know
everything else. So
I know this
screw
one
up.
police officer though. His name Mookie. That's what I call him. I seen him in a police uniform and I seen him in a suit. He don't change. He still
I
moves.
know a lot of guys.
Yeah,
that-
so I can't go along with
but
that.
No, but here's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Wait.
But
I mean, no. And wait a minute.
But remember this. I am
Uh-huh.
not saying this is the majority. Here's my problem with this. some of those same people who would be cocky in a community is what I mean. They'll be cocky in a certain kind of way because they feel a certain way with this uniform. And it's not the same as if you were in the outfit.
Well, I think it deals with the mentality of experience and maturity. Because if you're mature, no matter what position you have, you will act that way.
Unfortunately, that is not how twofold. That's not how the community sees it.
No, it's not. It's not, unfortunately.
And so when you have that kind of divide like that and you're not communicating, it's not something. I don't see too many places where we had that one forum that we were talking about. We're looking to do it again.
Yeah,
we had the
right.
We had opportunity to talk candidly.
That was with a policeman that is no longer a policeman now, and he described one of the reasons why he had to leave because he almost shot a 12-year-old.
Right.
He was getting ready to do it. He said he knew then that he had to go. But the person that said that, he is one of the most down-to-earth individuals, and that goes back to what I was saying about the maturity that you experience in the job. Most of the people that have experience on the job, they say the young guys coming in have that mentality, not the veterans.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, now if that's the case, well, that goes back to inexperience.
Right. That's why I said my disclaimer.
Right,
first of all, there's too many. I know.
So I'm saying an experienced police officers who I probably have more problems with.
Police, here's the problem. When you see police as a community, we automatically put it as they're such and such a certain way.
But there's politicians that do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Look at them three that I was talking about over there in certain city. Okay, they think that seat gives them a sense of entitlement because they're sitting there and they were elected officials. Okay, and we got mayors, we got pastors that do that when they're behind. So what I'm trying to say is this: I'll go back to what I said originally. It's a mind thing. It's a mindset.
The community is
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you because I got a problem with them. You talking about some fake folks, man? Yeah. Oh my goodness, I get so tired. And look at your neighbor. I can't stand that stuff. That stuff. Ooh.
They damage a community.
Oh my god! And then they allow the politicians to come there and open the door for them as long as they paying at the door. I see. Yeah. So yeah.
And people is payola as far as for the pastors to actually speak on your behalf.
I agree. So what you're saying. We got so many issues in our community. So let's cover all of these from now on. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about everything that we're talking about. I'm changing the platform and the way that this show is because what I want to do, I want to keep it about how to get out of the hood and develop a community. That's what hood to community is about. Thanks, Sandy. I appreciate your time. And those are some good points made. And listen, on that life toast, and look, this is something that he's been doing since I met him, and that was back in 2017. You've had a life toast and I remember when you came up with the ideas. I think your father, he was, if I'm not mistaken, that's when you started documenting everything. I mean, when I had first met you around the time you said, yes, in my words, or that was in your words.
That's it.
Okay, yes. But then the life toast, they really go together at some point.
I've been doing life toast. Actually, we met in 17. I've actually been doing life toast even since 14. That's
a beautiful thing. Well, listen, happy birthday again. And you're turning 72, correct? And
and I'm your baby brother.
Good comeback. All right, then. Hey, listen, thanks for your time. You got me with that one. Yeah, and I'm your baby brother.